Yeah, g'day scrappers. Just wanted to talk about removing the pins from these video plugs. In the other video that I did probably a year ago, I showed a whole heap of different plugs that we take gold pins from, and the video plugs was one of the most difficult ones, and still is, these old style anyway. So obviously first all we have to do is just remove that piece of metal. Now we get our pins, and as we worked out, it's very hard to pull these pins out, or even when you go to cut them, you know, you don't get most of the pin. So I thought, well, the best way to do these is just to cut the pin straight off and be done with it. You're going to still leave a little bit of pin inside, but not much, very little. And at least this way we've got all the pin, you know, most of the pin, and no contaminated stuff like solder or anything like that. So what I now worked out to do with these is to use one of these Dremel things, and basically on this Dremel I've got the thin cut little grinding wheel, little cutting wheel. It's a very thin blade. So this is what I worked out to do, and basically just cut those pins off, and that's it. Simple as that. Just straight through. And one thing I found is when you're cutting off the pins, that the pins can fly up. So I need a little. I've got this little guard here that I'll put on now. So I'll just I'll get this all worked out. Oh, other way around. Okay, so all this guard is just stops the, when I cut off the pins, stops the pins from flying up and all over the place. Hopefully it'll just keep it more contained. Put my little drill back in. All right. And if you've got a Dremel that's got a variable speed, I think, you know, somewhere around 15 RPMs, or 15,000 RPMs, that is. Yeah, about 15,000 RPM is a pretty good speed. I mean, this goes up to 30,000 RPM. You don't need it that fast. So I'll just show you quickly. I'll remove some of the pins off the plugs, and you decide for yourself whether it's something that you'd want to do or find another alternative. But basically, all I want to do is just cut these pins off. And that's it. Got most of the pins. One kind of bent over, but as you can see, it's sort of like basically all I'm doing is just cutting them off, flush off the plastic. So there's still a little bit of gold pin in there, but really for what it's worth, it's not worth going for all of them. So So nice and flash. These ones almost popped out. It's still a little bit messy. You still got a few pins flying around, but as long as you're in a reasonably contained area, you should be able to. So basically, that's it. So we've got pins that are, you know, pretty much fully plated, although they've got that little point where they've been cut, so that exposes the metal underneath. So they're going to still have to be processed like partially plated pins. But yeah, that's about as good as about the best way you can remove the pins from these plugs, and I find it quite quick, and I can get through like quite a lot of these in 10 or 15 minutes. And so just build up a little bucket of these. If you can get yourself a Dremel of some kind, I mean there's all different kinds of rotary kind of tools like this. You can get them as cheap as probably 30-40 bucks, and right up to maybe a couple $100. But these are really handy for so many jobs in your workshop, around the house, that really good value. Nice and clean. That's it. We can just throw this into scrap steel now, and we've got our little pins. So that's the best I've got for these video plugs. The new style, these white ones, they're a lot easier. Like they just sort of like pull out very easily. But these blue plugs, yeah. You don't get a lot of gold pins from them, but a lot of them are pretty good quality gold plating. So so that's the best option I've got. Only takes a few seconds, and we get most of the gold plating. All right. Well, that's removing gold pins from video plugs, the very difficult ones to do. Alright, well, that's all I got for you. Removing your pins off these video plugs, pretty easy to do if you use something like this, a Dremel with a little fine cut blade. Alright, well, keep scraping, have fun, and I'll catch you next time.